Hello everyone, I'm Tracy and welcome to today's video. So I was browsing, the brush sites, and I've noticed that with the exchange rate right now, so today's June 16th, 2023. If you're watching this in the future, there's a good chance these prices have changed, but right now the exchange rate is very favorable to the US dollar. So if you're paying in US dollar, it's a really good time to pick up some of these brushes because all of the ones I'm going to be talking about are under $30. So I'm going to point out not that many. I have about like 6 brushes here that I've been using for some time that I highly recommend. I'm going to demo as many of them as possible, and these are ones that I think are, they're worth even the higher price, but definitely right now I think these are really good deals. So I'm going to start off with the one foundation brush that it was my go-to brush, but since then I've have so much more. But the Mizuho MB510, this is made of synthetic hairs. This is a really good brush for foundation. It's also good for cream products, and because it's the MB series, so Mizuho makes this MB series, and these brushes are really well made. They're not like decorated, they're not fancy, but they're very sturdy. The handles are on the medium thickness side, and the hairs, like no hairs fall out of this brush. Like that's just, I don't feel like this brush has ever lost hairs. Also, because they're synthetic, I don't feel like I have to be as gentle with this, and so I can wash it as much as I want without feel like I'm ruining it. So let me just put, I have most of my makeup done already, but I'm gonna just put a little bit more foundation just to show you guys how this brush works. I'll put a little bit more, get a little more coverage on my chin here. So I pat with this, but you could also buff. My skin has been kind of dry, so if the finish looks a little bumpy, it's just my skin. So this is a really good brush. Even especially if you're a makeup artist, you don't want to buy a natural hair brush for foundation. You could do like a pretty heavy coverage if you're doing like this, like pouncing it, or you can kind of shear it out depending on how you use it. Got eyeglass marks right here, sunglass marks right here. But I haven't used this one for a long time, but I'm going to start using it because it is a really great brush. And for, what did I say, $28, a really good deal. So that is the only foundation brush I'm going to be talking about. But let me talk about one that is a powder brush. I used to talk about this one all the time. It's from Chikuhodo, and right now it's going for $17, which is such a steal. It's the Chikuhodo CHHC from their Cherry series. So the Cherry series, they're not as expensive as the other lines that they make because they're fairly basic, but you do get a wood handle. It's tapered, and you get this silver ferrule. This is dyed goat hair, but this shape, at least for me, is very useful, especially for powdering under the eyes. So you won't get like that dry, cakey powder look with this brush. And this one does not shed. I used to use this one very regularly. I just haven't been because I have other brushes, but a really good starter brush. I only use it for powder, but you can also use it for highlighter, blush, because it has that point. You could do highlighter. So that is how I would use this one. And yeah, right now for $17, it's definitely worth it. Okay, and then so now I'm going to talk about the eye brushes, the RS-9. So this one, I'm going to clean it. I've been using this one for eyeshadow, and it is amazing for eyeshadow, and I'm going to show you how that is done. It's now going for $28, and it's made of weasel hair, And this one is, of the different weasel eye brushes I have, this one is the most tapered and the most pointed. And what that allows me to do is to get the shimmer in the inner part of my eye really well. It's also a great concealer brush, and that's what I got this one for. But more recently I've been using it for eyeshadow. And it really holds on to like a metallic formula, so very little fallout. You'll get very little fallout with this brush. So I'm going to just put some of this green shade here. Not really the look I was going for, but just so you guys can see how this brush works and fits into certain parts of your eye. So you can do like that part, and then I like putting like a lighter shade here, and it gets into this area perfectly, inner corner. And if you want a line, you can certainly do that with this brush. See how beautifully you put that shimmer on? It kind of like blended the two shades together. No fallout. So an amazing brush, and for a 100% weasel hair brush, $28 is a steal. Also, you're getting the, I think you can get this in a black handle, I'm not sure, but I prefer the shorter red one because it's very shiny. And yeah, these are just, the RS weasel hair brushes are amazing, and I have most of them. But this one is the least expensive right now that I have. And I highly, highly recommend this. If you don't like it for concealer, you can use it for eyeshadow. It's also very sturdy because it is weasel hair. So, you know, you can wash it. I wash this one almost every week, and it's holding up great. There's just one little stray hair, which is odd. But yeah, this is an amazing brush, and under $30. I think it's a really good time to get it. This is the RS-6, and now it's going for $24. So this is a mix of weasel and pine squirrel. So you can see the squirrel hair, you know, pattern, I guess. And this one is a pretty thick brush. I got it for concealer, but I didn't like it for concealer. I do like it for the same purpose as the RS-9, except this one can blend as well. So it's really good for packing on shimmer, but also blending out shadow as well. So I'll do the same thing. I'll pick up that same shade. And this one I think will be, this one will apply, I think, a little bit more heavily just because of the hair type. It will grab on to more product, which is nice. I'll put a little bit, oh, you know what, there's another brush I want to show you guys for shimmer, but so let me do that shimmer, and then I'm gonna, with this gray shade, show you how this blends out, like the outer corner. You want to deepen out the outer part of your eye. It's also really good for lining, smudging out liner. See how it did that? It's very, very quick. You can do an entire eye look with this. And I like traveling with this. This is one I always bring on trips because you can do so many things with this one brush, and it's amazing because it's got the pine squirrel. It's soft. It's not as firm as, you know, the brush I was talking about. This one's not as flexible, but yeah, this is just one of the best brushes you can get under $30 right now. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but it's a really good multifunctional brush. Okay, and this one is another Chikuhodo squirrel hair brush. This is 100% grayscale. I've had this one for a long time. It's the GSN-9, and right now it's going for $19, so under $20. And it's, again, really nice for what I do, I put the shimmer on the inner part of the eye because of the shape, because it's so small. It's good for fitting right here and also to get a little shadow on the lower lash line. So I'm going to go in with that really light shade. And it's so soft, so it's really, really comfortable on the eye. So see how it did that? I would say maybe a little bit of a lighter application than the RS-9, but still a beautiful way to get a lot of impact out of your shimmers. Also, these hairs really will hold on to product, so I almost never get fallout with this brush. Yeah, no fallout yet. And these shadows, the Natasha Denona, like glitter and metallic shades, they tend to cause fallout. I'm really liking how this eye look is coming out. I don't usually go for this look, but yeah, these brushes are just, they just make your look a little better, you know, than it would be. Okay, and then I don't have that many more. Okay, this is a liner brush. I talk about this one all the time. It's my favorite liner brush. If you haven't got it yet, when you're putting an order in with Fude Beauty or CD Japan, get the Mizuho MB133. You won't regret it. It's amazing at lining. I'm going to use this dark brown shade right here from the Dream palette. I like using this one. This brown is like special. It mixes with other shades well, and I did put some on earlier, but I'm gonna put a little bit more, and it does like a little wing if you're going for that. I am not good at wing liner, but with this brush I will attempt a little bit of the like a baby wing. Okay, so the MB133, it's got a slight angle, it's synthetic and weasel hair, and what I like about this one is it's very comfortable and it does a really precise line, lower lash line and upper lash line. And it's really good at getting this part. Like if you're trying to line like the tear duct area, this is the brush that I pick up. Also, because it's so flexible, it's very comfortable. And if you're a makeup artist, you're doing other people's makeup, I always pick this one because you don't have to worry about, you know, making your client feel uncomfortable. This is just such a good one. It comes in a round shape, but I like this one better. I mean, that's my attempt at a wing, and then I'll blend it out. So yeah, that's kind of how I use this brush. And yeah, what did I say, $17? $12. Amazing deal. Okay, and then I have a couple of honorable mentions. These are not under $30, but they're pretty close. And I'll just talk about this one. It's the Muragishi Sangyo Hana Sakura Cheek Brush. And this is a mix of gray squirrel and goat hair, you know, obviously dyed goat hair. And this is probably like my favorite mix, especially for blush and bronzer. And I mean, this is also good for powdering under the eyes. Blush is goes on really well with this, and that's what I'm going to show it with today. So Healthy Peach. Okay, hopefully this shows up. Carrying Coral. I'll put this coral shade on. Okay, so It's not going to apply really heavily, and it's not going to apply in a large area, but that's kind of what I prefer for my blush brushes. I like to really control, you know, where the product goes. And I generally kind of pounce or stamp with this one. And it's just a perfect size to get in right here. I mean, you can certainly buff. Because of the squirrel hair, it's not going to like mess up your base makeup. So see how beautifully it put that on? This is a really good beginner's brush. Also, if you're a makeup artist, I think this is a really nice one. When I do other people's makeup, I tend to go for smaller brushes just because it's easier to like add to different places versus take away if you're using a brush that's too big. So I love this one also for doing other people's makeup. And then I'm just going to honorably mention these because these type of brushes are really good deals, and I get all of my outlet brushes on CD Japan. I know Fude Beauty does have outlet brushes. I don't know if they don't have as many. I just tend not to get them from Fude Beauty, but the ones that I look for and the ones I jump on are these type of gray squirrel outlet brushes. And right now CD Japan does have a lot of Chikuhodo and Chikuhodo outlet brushes, and so these are ones that the company makes as like a prototype and kind of sees how it works. And these are gray squirrel. I have two of them. This is the 282, which I don't know when I got this one, and this one is the I forgot. I got this one most recently, but the one I got most recently is really soft, nicer than the other one I have, and I've been using this one nonstop for blush, also for setting powder. And this one is soft too, just not quite as soft. I think this is Chikuhodo, and I think they're both Chikuhodo, but they're very similar, but I can tell the different density. The first one I showed is more dense. The one I got more recently is more airy, and the hairs are softer. But if you can find one of these, also the round ferrule squirrel hair brushes, they're such good deals. They're about 45% off of what you would pay if this was like a permanent brush. But if you're looking at outlet brushes and you're overwhelmed, like which one should I get? I would try to get like the squirrel or goat and squirrel mixes. That way you know it's going to be fairly soft. And you know, they're going to use good materials. Like I've never bought an outlet brush that was poorly made. Sometimes they're maybe a little off with the bundling, but I'm going to show you this one. And this one, I think I got like the last one. Such a great deal. And it kind of reminds me of the Chikuhodo. Chikuhodo did like a limited release of the squirrel, 20-year-old squirrel hairs, 20-year-old squirrel hairs. I think they're still available, but that one's like $100. So this one is less than half the price. And see how gently and beautifully it put that blush on. And it's so soft on the face. So soft, so comfortable. Great if you're doing someone else's makeup as well. It's kind of hard to overdo it, so yeah, I put them on a little differently. But you know, if you're trying to build your collection or you're trying to figure out what brushes that you like, I think the outlet sales are a really good way to start without, you know, taking too much of a risk. You know, the worst thing is you're buying, you know, $100 brush and it turns out to not be what you're looking for. So I think the outlet sales are such a good deal, and I don't need any more brushes obviously, but I often do get kind of sucked into buying the outlet brushes, and I'm for the most part not disappointed. There have been a couple of duds, but for the most part I'm pretty happy with the outlet brushes that I get. Okay, and I think that's gonna do it. Let me just make sure. Yeah, so those are the picks. I went through my collection and and I picked these brushes as good ones to get right now. And they're brushes I've been talking about. Actually, every one of these I've talked about multiple times on my channel. So I'll look for other videos where I have more information about these brushes. But if you've been following me, you've probably heard of every brush that I talked about today before. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. I hope this helps you guys out a lot. And links are all down below. And I will see you all next time. Bye.